Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi there, this is Jim Valvis coming at you with another Freeform. This Freeform is an addendum to my other Freeform that was I posted online a few days ago privately and didn't choose to make it public until today. And the reason I did that is because, look, you get moods sometimes. You start to get attacked by Nazis, and you get in a mood, and you rant a little bit, and you say, well, that's a pretty pissy video for people to listen to. That's a mood that maybe they didn't bargain for when they started coming here. Because I'm generally a cheerful guy. I'm generally a positive guy, and so it's not common for me to kind of show my cards like that. I like to be circumspect about things and erudite. But Nazis just rubbed me wrong. People of that kind of extremism, people who are not really thoughtful. That these are the people who loaded the cattle cars. These are the people who did the worst crimes in humanity. They're the people who rode with Attila the Hun. They're the people who did all the horrible legwork that was, the killing fields and Stalin's purge. That's what these people are. They're not able to do it here because we live in the greatest nation that ever was or ever really could be. You won't hear that a lot in your public schools, but that's the truth. We're protected from these people merely by institutions. And those institutions are being eroded. And they're being eroded from within. They're not being, Donald Trump is not destroying the press in America. The press is destroying the press in America. By using the press for their own personal and political gain, they are destroying what is really one of our safeguards against these people. Without them, without a trusted and decent media press, we don't have any defense against the worst that humanity has to offer. People who have given in entirely to their hoot and to their most base emotions and their most paranoid thoughts, and often their first thoughts. They don't put any stress on their first thoughts. They get a thought, they don't question it. They don't sit there and say, but is that right? Is that really right? Because I do this all the time. I sit there and I say, yeah, well, maybe not, maybe, and I go back and forth about that a lot. And those people who are like that, I'm not one of those people who thinks, that that anyone who stands for anything is a bad person. You get that a lot especially with the left, because they have no moral structure and they have no core values that they hold to, because they live in a relativistic mindset. They believe that if you have any standards at all, that makes you judgmental, it makes you judgy, and it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to be judgy. Who are you to judge? And so I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people who has a core set of values, but I've tortured those thoughts for a long time to make sure that they're the right thoughts, that they're not in any way, shape, or form built on aggression and anger and the more base emotions, wrath, and lust, and greed, the deadly sins. And as much as possible, pride. I try as best I can not to be proud, because not to be as vain and arrogant as a person could be. If I have two failings in the whole deadly sin category, they would without a doubt be pride and gluttony. But I think I'm more successful against pride than I am gluttony, mainly because I just sit there and life humbles you. Life offers you a lot of food and a lot of humility. So I'm usually pretty better with the dealing with my excess pride. And I think of Ben Franklin, though, he said, pride, you can never really get rid of it. He said that even if I should become completely humble, I would still be proud of my humility. And I think that's accurate. All the sins are beasts that you have to beat back repeatedly with a club, because temptation is always there, and it's always coming for you, and it always wants you and wants to grab you. But these people have obviously stopped. They've dropped the club and they've run to their sins to embrace them. And when I get around people like that, I have a hard time dealing with them, because they are so against my mode of thinking and the way I look at the world, and the way I wish the world were. A lot of times, they have their way of wishing the world was too. In their perfect world, there'd be no Jews. There would be no people who were sympathetic to the Jews. There would be probably no Christians. A great many of these Nazis are atheists. I would say the vast majority of them are atheists. It just is. I'm not entirely sure that they're connected, but they may be. They may be. when you look at someone like Ayn Rand, who was not a Nazi, of course, but she was an objectivist, and she had a streak of individualists that went to like the core of selfishness. Um, that was set up against the collectivists, which frankly was made up with a lot of Jews. It's not an accident that the Nazis hate Jews. The Jews, we don't say this very often, but the Jews were big believers in communism. They were big believers in socialism. They were big believers in collectivism. They wanted, and they were also, highly successful people. And so they made, on top of being everything else, they were, because they're so successful, and because a lot of other people are not successful, it causes resentment. But so these two things brush up against each other, and sometimes humility needs to step in, and you need to say, I'm not perfect either. I'm not, and I'm not going to be perfect ever. But I don't think that these kinds of thoughts ever worm through the walls that these folks have built up around their souls. They just cannot get through. The walls are very, very well made, and you say something like this to them, and they say, "Well, you're just a Jewish co-conspirator, or your mind has been rotted by the Jew, or you're you're completely brainwashed. You're a zombie. You're brain dead." That's an answer for a lot of people when they can't stomach disagreement, when they can't get to somebody having their having a more moderate view of things. I think that if you have a moderate view, then you're for the extinction of the white race and all the rest of it. And look, the left gives these people ammunition. They give them ammunition every day. It's one of the reasons why Aranda Girard is so poisonous. When she writes, cancel white people, or get rid of white people, or whatever these people write. When they write this kinds of stuff, and they show their bigotry and their hatred toward another race, well, like I always say about Hitler, if you don't want a Hitler, don't create the conditions that make a Hitler possible. And if you don't want white nationalists, you don't want Nazis, then don't create the conditions that make Nazis possible. The Nazis are the increase, and it's not a huge increase, but there is an increase in the in this area of this subculture. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. You have a corrupt media. You have a Democratic Party that's gone off the rails. You have people who celebrate all kinds of perversity. You have people who will not even accept basic science. Like a man is a man, straight down to his chromosomes, and a woman is a woman, straight down to her chromosomes. You can't continue to do this stuff and not have people. You can only browbeat people out of the truth for so long, and eventually they will turn. Oh, that was a mistake. Eventually they will turn to the alternative, whatever the alternative is, and some of them will turn to the extreme alternative, and so that's what we're seeing. But I just don't have the stomach to engage these people anymore. So I wonder if I'm even competent enough to do this. I like my quiet life. I have my wife. I have my daughter. I love them both dearly. I have some family besides that, and I have some close friends that I've had a long time. A few of them are poets. A few of them are not poets, and I don't really care to engage with insane people. I'm not. Maybe it's a young person sport, I think, but at the same time, I want to advance the writing, which I think is fun and vital and important, and it deserves an audience. If I didn't think that about my writing, I'd stop doing it. I already did it once. I stopped for 4 years when I quit smoking. I said, well, I failed as a writer. Now I'm going to try to succeed as a father, and that's what I did. I tried to be the best husband and father I could be, and I learned a lot of recipes to cook for my wife, and I cleaned a lot of diapers for my daughter, and that kind of thing. But eventually, the writing bug has been with me my whole life, and I said, I'll give it another shot, one more shot. So, when I turned 30, when I was just about to turn 40, I was 39. I said, I'm going to give it another go, and the writing was better. The writing improved quite a bit, but even still, I guess I can let it go. I could easily be an Emily Dickinson and just hold on to everything and not deal with all the garbage and the rejections and what bothers me about the rejections isn't that I'm not good enough. It's that I am good enough. That's what bothers me. What bothers me is I send to places and I know I'm being rejected because A, they don't like my politics. B, they don't care about they want to get in a certain number of women or a certain number of minorities or a certain number of or they're running a theme based that excludes me in some way. We don't talk about that. You're running a theme on gay writers or whatever. Well, that's a place now. I can't publish a work. And is there a reason for that? Are gay writers really excluded from journals that they need a feature? Is that what you really think? Because where is that? Where could that possibly be? You tell me. You tell me a magazine that will look at a work that has gay themes in it, and they will not be published. A literary magazine. Point that literary magazine out to me. I want to know where that is. And so why do these people need a theme for their, why do they need a little ghetto for themselves when they can live in any neighborhood they want, even the richest? So it doesn't make sense. So, and so it's just another place where they can exclude me. That's what it means. It can exclude me because I'm not gay, or I'm not black, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. And all that stuff just bothers me. It just bothers me because there's no justice in it. I think there was no justice in it either. There's, you gave the straight white Christian guy a full issue to himself. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, maybe you should do that. Maybe that's the guy who really needs his own little freaking ghetto now, because everybody else has, they can go anywhere they want. Anyway, so I look out at the world, and I don't want to complain to people, and I don't want to be negative. I really enjoy everything I do. Even this, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I just don't enjoy constantly having to deal with idiots. And it's not just people disagree with you. That comes with the territory. You can't be any kind of thinker or writer without having people disagree with you. It's just that the disagreement is so pedantic and it's so idiotic often. And then I can't lie that there are any number of people who would comment on my posts when I put them on Facebook. That never said a word to me on YouTube, and I have to wonder why that is. Why is that exactly? I don't know. Part of it, would be, I think, that here on YouTube you don't get the grandstand. You don't get to virtue signal in front of all of Facebook about how much of a leftist you are, and so they don't come here. Even if they comment on Facebook, and so I'm trying to assess all this. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to see where I'm going, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep doing this. I've already decided I'm committed to 100 poems on YouTube. 100 poems. I'm going to publish 100 poems, and then I'm going to decide. Here's what I may do. I may publish 100 poems on YouTube, and then make the whole channel subscriber only. In other words, you have to pay me to get the content. I'm considering that. And if nobody pays me, that's fine. Then I can just stop doing it. But to do it for nothing, and to be assaulted by Nazis, that's no fun. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I've worked 30 years on my writing, and I ought to get something for it. Something. I ought to be able to buy my wife a freaking dinner once in a while. Don't you think? I mean, don't you think that's at least fair? That's at least an idea that's like, and I don't have one single Patreon supporter. Not one person, not anybody, not a single person will give me $1 a month. Not $1 a month. I'm not saying they will give me $1. I mean, okay, I'm doing this wrong. That's the only thing I can think of. That if that's the case, then I've got to be doing it wrong, and then I have to readjust. I have to reconsider. And so I'm being perfectly honest with everybody right up front. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be, I was down in the last talk. I really was, and did a little cursing, a little more cursing than I normally do, and I apologize for that. And I really thought about not publishing it, but I just want to be honest here. This is an experience I'm going through, and if it turns out to be a failed experiment, I'm okay with that. I'll just retreat back to my normal life and writing my little poems and writing my little stories, and maybe I'll publish them into journals that nobody ever reads, and that'll be just me, and I'm good with that. It's a lot better than a lot of the other people. It's better than being a Nazi, that's for damn sure. All right, please like, comment, subscribe, share. All this stuff, and hit the little bell if you're interested in getting this content. The Patreon's there if you want to if you want to be the first. There are all the other stuff down there. There's a blogger, there's the Minds, there's the channel. There's Gab. You can follow me on Gab. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. All that stuff's available if you're interested in it. And if you're not, you just here for the free ride until it lasts. While it lasts, well, that's fine. But anyway, I do appreciate you listening, and as always, thank you. God bless.